Ladies and gentlemen, K-Kim here. Welcome to the daily update. Hope you guys had a good day trading today. Market is seems like pretty much flat on the S&P. It looks like we did see the Nasdaq and the semis up about 1% or so, but it looks like everything else is actually kind of red here. Russell 2000 down 1%, banks 1%. Energy got hit a little bit, 3.5%. Transport 1.6, and the biotech is about 1% there. So it looks like the semis and the Nasdaq and the S&P pretty much flat. So it's the day where the semis and the Nasdaq kind of took us higher a little bit, while the other sectors and to be fair, we did see a huge rallies on the banks on the Russell 2000. In the last month and a half or so. So I'm not surprised to see them slowing down. However, semiconductors been like going crazy and it won't stop. And so let's stick with our 65-minute chart on the S&P spider here. So it looks like we let's see, so 1 2 3 4 5 6, so it looks like this is we slightly gapped up because that's where we closed. We gapped up here, right? Actually here, and there was a little bit of fluctuation on the first hour here, looks like, right? Sort of like a hanging man type of candle there. You never know with the hanging man's, you're trying to figure out if the hanging man is going to, definitely be some kind of a topping pattern. I'm sure a lot of people thought that was a shooting star here. Maybe they thought this was a hanging man, right? So every time when you're trying to do any kind of a candlestick analysis to try to call top, it's much more difficult than trying to call bottom. Right, so when we're in an uptrend, it's easier to call bottom looking at candlestick patterns, right, versus trying to call top in an uptrend. It is easier to call tops in a downtrend, but it's harder in an uptrend. And so you can see, you could look at that as some kind of a hanging man doji. You can look at that as a shooting star. Well, there's another shooting star. Well, there's a hanging man. You know what I mean? It's constantly like, you think it's going to be something, but market just keeps grinding higher and sideways. So it's never really effective to try to call top with the candlestick. What I would do is kind of look at a majority of movement. A lot of times when we're in an uptrend, market will come down without any kind of warning, really. That's usually what happens. if you just look at last couple occasions where the market did sold off, there was no warnings. Like, if you look at this one right here, was there any kind of tell? No. Was there any kind of like topping candle or anything? No. We gapped up and just like boom, 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 right? Same thing here. Was there any kind of a warning here? Any kind of candlestick warning we can see? Nothing. We just slowly faded it, and then next hour we just came down, and next day we just gapped up. So anybody out there, as you follow people on Twitter and stuff like that, you'll come across people trying to be like, oh, there's a hanging man candle. Oh, there's a shooting star candle, right? And if you close them close, you figure out that they've been wrong too many times. But they won't learn. It's crazy how that works. They will continue to attempt to find top and continue to get burned. And I'm sure a lot of my followers and you guys are much smarter than that to understand when to give benefit of the doubt to the buyers instead of trying to call. If you want to call anything, try to call bottom, right? On a pullback, trying to call that bottom, whatever you guys would like doing, right? You guys want to buy that call options or whatever you want to do, rather than trying to call top, call that bottom is much, much easier. I don't even know why my video is going this way today without really analyzing the market here. So just let me prove it to you, right? Just looking at last just in a month and a half or so, right? It will be much easier. There's that what is that? Hammer candle there. There's that bullish engulfing candle there. There's that doji right on that a gap area. There's that hammer candle there. There's the what is that? We talked about this candle back in mid-December. I just took a nap. I just woke up. Actually, my brain is still kind of foggy. What is that? Tweezer bottom, right? And there's another tweezer bottom right here. There's a bullish engulfing here. There's another tweezer bottom here. See how much more effective that is trying to call bottom in an uptrend versus trying to call top in an uptrend. Again, it will be easier when you're dealing with the downtrend, right? Then it will be easier to call these tops with some kind of a pattern or something like that. But when you're in an uptrend, much profitable, right? Trying to call those bottoms, looking at some pivots, looking at your maybe fib support if that's your thing. Look at your gap area support, moving averages coinciding with your candlesticks. You have a higher probability calling the bottom versus trying to call top there. So spend majority of time on that. Today was pretty much a pause day, so there aren't a whole lot, I could say. So quickly here, we just pretty much move sideways, right? So obviously my short-term moving average continues to rise. We have this gap area is going to provide support if the price comes back down. Let's check out that oscillator. Maybe that oscillator give us a better idea where we are at. So you can see the oscillator is at overbought territory. So buyers are definitely tired, and we talked about this yesterday. And so when the buyers are tired, you can see price tends to kind of move sideways, right? And that's what we saw today, right? You can see that buyers got tired last late December, moved sideways for a couple of days. Buyers got tired here in early to mid-January. Pretty much moved sideways for looks like entire couple weeks or so. You can see just move sideways. And buyers are right now getting tired and we move sideways. So it's nothing like surprising in today's move. Because we talked about this yesterday. That buyers are tired. Are they gonna correct their time waiting until that oscillator reset? Because they need to get that oscillator reset, right? Before buyers can push it back up. Right, so I think at this point, what you want to look for is the price going to move sideways while this oscillator completely reset, or is going to? When I say sideways, it doesn't always completely sideways. It's going to have is a slightly up and downs, but overall it's going to be sideways, right? You can see how oscillator coming down like that, but there was no. Bears are not able to capitalize from that as it just kept moving sideways. And that's what I mean by, correcting through time versus price. But so that might be happening. So there's a whole lot of options can be happening where this can move sideways, a little sideways move, maybe pull back to retest my short-term moving average, and they need to see this oscillator reset before bulls can make a big move again, right? We talked about that. Support here, and this is the reason why we saw a big move here. Support. We saw that move there, and that's a level where we saw that gap just got filled. And when the gap gets filled, what does it do? It's going to act as support. Also, you can see we saw that a tweezer bottom candlestick reversal pattern there, along with my oscillator crossing. And once we saw that, it had a higher probability of this thing making a run, and we had a good run there. Now it's getting tired. So either we move sideways, we come back. I think, if the price starts to slide down, probably about 381. We got the short-term moving average at 382.27, 381 as that support. So we got a couple support to go through. Keep in mind, though, even though we are overbought, doesn't always means they cannot bulls cannot push higher, right? They could still push this thing higher. Like what they could do is, I said this yesterday also, you can move sideways and this thing can kind of come down and then can push it up a little more like that. That's another scenario. But we are in this condition where buyers are tired, buyers need to rest. And the only question is, what is bears going to do? Are they going to just let buyers rest while the price moves sideways? while the oscillator reset, or are the bears actually gonna bring it down? Only way bears gonna bring it down is just very sudden shenanigan down move, maybe a gap down or something like that. But everything else tells us that we want to continue to give benefit of the doubt to the buyers. I'll come back for you guys tomorrow. Enjoy your evening and good luck trading tomorrow.